Hey guys, so I want to tell you about my Rapture confirmation that I had, it's been about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was when I first heard about this Rapture taking place in September, and I was really skeptical at first, but I was open to it, and I came home that night. I took my dog out to use the bathroom, and I was looking up at the sky, and I asked the Lord. I said, Lord, if you're really coming in September next month, would you show me a sign right now? And I kid you not, I saw a little meteor shoot right where I was looking in the sky. I mean, my eyes were already focused where it shot, exactly where it shot. And it wasn't off to the left or to the right or up or down. It was just exactly where I was looking. And I was like, could that be a coincidence? And I was like, I don't know. That's some coincidence, So anyway, I was, and it just so happens that I've been taking my dog out to pee multiple times during the night, and since I've lived here at this place for about 3 or 4 months now, that's the first time I've even seen a meteor, and I'm always looking at the sky. I mean, I've seen hundreds of them in my life. I'm just saying recently, that's the only one I've seen recently in the past 3 or 4 months, and it just so happened to happen exactly right after I asked that question. Oh, and if it was like a week later, and I'm not sure about this one might have been a coincidence, but it was pretty neat. I went out there and I was like, Lord, remember the other day when I asked you if you were coming in September, and you showed me that meteor? And as soon as I got finished with that question, I saw a flash of light across the sky. Not a lightning bolt, but like heat lightning, It was just a big flash. It was almost like he was saying yes, And I was like, wow. I was like, okay. And so I went ahead and asked the question, if you're not coming back, I said, if you're not coming back in September, would you show me a sign right now? If I was mistaken, show me a sign. And nothing happened. So I was like, okay. Well, I went back inside. Well, fast forward a little, back up a little. Right after that first thing happened to me, first confirmation, I went to work and I told a few people about this. And one of the guys at work that I told about all the math and everything that's just lining up perfectly, Well, over the weekend, after the weekend, I came back to work, and he was like, man, you're not going to believe what happened to me. I said, what? He said, I was out in town, like the day after you told me this, I was in town, and some guy just like walked out in the middle of the parking lot, in the middle of a parking lot, and he took out a shofar, like one of those. Now I don't think he said shofar, but I looked it up later. I showed him a picture. I was like, is this what you were talking about? It's like a ram's horn, right? He's like, yeah, that's yeah. So I was like, wow. He took out a ram's horn and blew it in the middle of a parking lot in front of people and stuff. I don't know. Like, that's weird. Like, if that's not a confirmation, I don't know what is. And that was like 3 days before I found out that during the Feast of Trumpets, that's exactly the trumpet that they blew was a shofar. Wow, I mean, that blew my mind. That was just, that was incredible. So, and I want to talk about a couple of dreams I had. 3 dreams, to be exact. 4 dreams. Well, I'll just tell this one real quick. About a year or two ago, when I wasn't really I was on the right path, but I wasn't really reading my Bible. I wasn't going to church. I was still drinking a little bit. And I had a dream that I was left behind in the rapture. I remember being on a bus and just a bunch of people vanished, and I knew what it was. I knew it was the rapture, and I was left behind. I woke up from that dream like oh no. It's like that's not a good sign. I don't like that. So anyway, fast forward. Now I've been going to church. I've been reading my Bible the past year. I've been listening to a lot of Christian content on YouTube and stuff, especially the past year. But anyway, I had a dream the other night. No, it was, it was probably a couple weeks ago when I first heard about this September thing. And I asked the Lord if He would give me a rapture dream. I didn't get that. I got something a little bit, it wasn't as comforting as I was hoping. So I had a dream. Well, it was two dreams. One the first week and another one the second week. That both had something to do with one another. But anyway, the first dream, I was drunk. I was like, and this wasn't some normal dream. This was very, very real. Very, almost like a vision, you know. I was so drunk in this dream. And I remember feeling like I was drunk. I know what it feels like to be drunk, right? And I felt drunk in this dream. Not just drunk, not just any drunk, really drunk. It takes a lot for me to get really this bad drunk, because I'm not like most people. I'm a rare breed when it comes to alcohol. I used to drink 30 beers and just like have perfect balance, and you know, but in this dream I was like stumbling. I got up and I'm stumbling with my beer. I'm stumbling to the fridge to get another beer. I come back in there, and then someone in the dream, I'm not going to say who, but was asking if they could take my daughter to skip church and go shopping instead. And right then I woke up, and as I was waking up, I was saying, absolutely not. I'm like, I'm taking my daughter to church. What are you talking about? You know? But anyway, that dream ended, and then a week later, I asked the Lord for another rapture dream. And I asked for a comforting dream. I was like, please give me a dream to let me know that I'm going in the rapture. And He didn't give me that, but He gave me a rapture dream. But it wasn't what I was expecting. It was a warning. And it was odd because, well, all right, let me just say what it was. Let me back up for a second. I had a dream right before that where a bomb dropped at night. And a bomb dropped, and I saw it in the distance, and I knew that it was close enough that I was about to die in like 2 seconds. And I did. The just whoosh of flame, you know, heat, and just engulfed me and killed me instantly. And I remember still having consciousness though, but everything was black, and I knew I was just a soul, right? And I just kept praying. I was praying. I was like, please, Jesus. I was like, save me, save me. And after a few seconds, everything turned white, just solid white. And then it went to another dream. So that was a little comforting to know that it seemed like I went to heaven maybe, but yeah, I didn't want to die in a bomb. But actually, you know, I think I was someone else in that dream. I was looking through someone else's eyes. Because there was some other guy in the room that I didn't recognize, and I think I was looking through someone else's eyes in that dream. But anyway, fast forward, that same night, same time, I went to another dream, and I was in a banquet hall, like an empty banquet hall that was like it was dark. It was dark in the room. There was empty round tables, chairs set up and everything. And then I heard a voice coming from behind me. And I knew this voice instantly. It was Jesus. And what's interesting is I'm a dreamer. I dream a lot. And I remember a lot of my dreams. I remember at least 2 or 3 dreams a night most of the time. So I've had thousands, tens of thousands, maybe millions of dreams in my day, and I have never had a dream with a disembodied voice. Anytime there's a voice in my dream, it's, I'm talking to somebody. Well, this was definitely Jesus. This was God. So, and he said, I was in this banquet hall. It was empty. And I kind of think that it might have been kind of like we're supposed to have like a feast with him, right? When we're caught up in the clouds. And I was thinking it was like the preparation for that. And it was set up, but all the tables were empty, right? That's what I kind of got from it. And I heard a voice behind me. It was Jesus. He said, make sure you are not drunk when I return. And then I woke up immediately after he said that. And I was just like, I was stunned. I woke up and I was stunned. I was like, whoa. At first I was like, that's really cool. First of all, that's the first time I've heard Jesus talk to me, like audibly. And so I was like, it was really neat. But at the same time, I was like, man, he was giving me a warning. That wasn't very comforting. That was like a warning, like, make sure you're not drunk when I return. But I found it really odd because I don't drink anymore, Lord. I'm like, I haven't drank in over 2 years. And even before, when I was drinking, the past several years, it was only every couple of months or something, But I would get drunk, But, I thought I do get tempted sometimes. Like when I'm at my dad's or something, he might offer me a beer. And, sometimes I'm kind of like, I would like a beer. I would kind of like just one beer, But, history has proven to me that I can't have just one beer. Every time I try to just have one beer, it always ends up being 2 beers. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to stop after this beer. And then it doesn't work out. I grab a 3rd beer, and then a 4th beer, and then a 5th beer, and a 6th beer, and a 7th beer. So I think that Jesus just knows me better than I know myself. And maybe he's giving me a warning because I might be weak at some point and grab a beer, if I wouldn't have had this dream, And because I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So I immediately thought about Peter in the Bible when Jesus told him that he would deny him 3 times before the rooster crowed. And Peter's like, Lord, there's no way, I'm not going to deny you. Like, I won't even deny you once. There's no way. And what happened? The next day, he denied him 3 times before the rooster crowed. So it made me think like, well, maybe just, Jesus knows me better than I know myself. And then I also thought, well, maybe he's saying that just to be sober-minded, in all things. Maybe it's not talking about being drunk on alcohol. Maybe it's talking about just everything. So I've been being sober-minded, and I'm going to be sober-minded. I'm going to stay sober-minded because even if he doesn't come in September, he's coming soon. And it also kind of almost implied that, like, what if he's not taking all the Christians? I know that's going to trigger some people, but I did hear from a guy the other day that kind of, he was talking about some verses in the Bible. He brought up a bunch of verses in the Bible that kind of look like it's possible that he might not take all of the Christians. Like, we're still saved, right? We're still sealed. But in the rapture, he might just take, like some of the people who are still in the world, still doing worldly things and aren't really paying attention. I don't know, they might be left behind to go through the rapture. Go through the tribulation. I don't want to think that, but this dream that I had when he said, make sure you are not drunk when I return, it almost implied that I might not be taking you if you're drunk. And Lord knows I am saved. I am sealed. But if I was drunk, when he returned, would he come get me? The dream kind of implied that he probably wouldn't. So, kind of makes me wonder. And I know it was Jesus talking. I know it was him in this dream. So anyway, take that however you want. But, so I had this dream a couple of nights ago. And it was like New York was on fire. I don't know it was New York, but it seemed like it must have been because of all the buildings, all the skyscrapers everywhere. But I couldn't really see the buildings except maybe the tip tops of the buildings, because everything was like, they were like engulfed in flames. Everything was engulfed in flames. The only thing that wasn't was the streets, and then like there was just walls of flames down every street. And I kept going down every street, and everything is just engulfed in flames. Like walls of fire. And some, girl, some woman, pretty woman, came out of, ran kind of skipping. She was skipping in the fire and smiling. Coming out of the fire. This was a demon, by the way. But it looked like a beautiful woman. And she grabbed me with both arms, one up here on my shoulder, and the other down here. She grabbed me really hard and really good, and started pulling me into the fire. And she was happy, skipping, and she said, she called me by name. My name's Trevor. She said, Trevor. What did she say? She said, Trevor, come join us in the fire. Come on. She said, come join us. And there was there was just a slight temptation to want to go with her. It was weird. It was like, why would I want to go with her in burning, where everybody's burning? But there was this slight temptation, but I didn't. I pulled away, and I yanked my arm away from her. I was like, get away from me. And I woke up from that dream, and I was thinking, I felt like it was a good dream because it showed that I made the right choice. I made the right choice because this girl, she was wanting me to come in the fire with her. I believe it was a demon. She was trying to pull me into the fire and trying to deceive me into thinking it was something fun. Hey, we're all having fun here in hell, So, good thing I yanked away from her and didn't go with her into the fire. So, yeah, that was my dreams, and take it for what it is. So, yeah.